Hey everyone, I wish the best of luck to everybody in the Airtable Hackathon, and I'm just stoked that I get to submit a project. I'm just going to give you a little overview of my project. I'm not going to get super into detail just for sake of time, but I'm just going to give a little demonstration of what's going on. I'm going to explain the base and the industry that I work in. So I work in cattle ranching and obviously Airtable. So I build Airtable databases for beef cattle operations. And those cattle operations mainly focus on like really good environmental stewardship, grazing management, clean water. So they're always interested in how the grazing management can improve. And what I've done for various ranches, this one is kind of a demo ranch that I've created on my own. So this isn't like real data, but it replicates real data that I've built across multiple ranches. So, a big thing in the ranching world is mapping. And up until custom interfaces came along, there was no mapping in Airtable, but now there is. And you have to know a little bit about AI prompting or kind of vibe coding, or even a little bit of software development on your own to set this up. But the cool thing in terms of ranching is you can build this. I built a similar interface to this just with Omni, but then this one I built with the SDK and set that up, and then I use Claude Code to like vibe code some stuff in here and get all this set up. So this is the pasture interface, and these are actual pastures that are in a ranch. So they're all fenced with a barbed wire fence, and they have a certain amount of grass that grows in them. And then when you put cattle in them, those cattle eat, and they consume roughly 3% of their body weight a day. So you can calculate how much they're using. And then the color of the pasture is determined by how much the cattle have eaten. So in the mountain pasture here, the cattle have utilized about 34% of that pasture. Sage Creek is 14, and then it goes from green to dark red the more that they've eaten. So I can show you, like this is my code base here that I've set up in VS Code, and I use Claude Code to help me create a bunch of stuff. I also use Claude Code to help me create these, this key, and I use Adobe Illustrator, and I like mock up, or I also use Webflow because I'm a web developer. So I'll use Webflow and extract the HTML and CSS, and then give it to Claude Code and have it design elements in here. So I can click on this. You can see this card pops up. It's very similar to this one. And so just diving in here a little bit more, just trying to like keep this succinct. Any pastures that are gray are ones that haven't had any livestock in them. Red is getting, really heavily grazed, and green is pretty much lightly grazed. So the way this works is this is the pasture inventory. So you just, what I do, if I go to the data layer, I use a GeoJSON object. So I have made all these pastures in Google Earth, and then I just extract the object, the polygon object, and that polygon is a coordinate for each little marker that gives you the shape of the pasture, or the polygon shape. And that is placed here in just a long text field. And then here's some other attributes, style attributes, grazing records. This one is cool because this pasture color looks at this pasture utilization. So this 48%, it gives it a green hex value if it's 0, and a red hex value if it's if it's 100%, and kind of a range in between. And then I also use a Unicode emoji to do this cool little graph here to see visually how pastures are being grazed. And then the boundary width and alpha value, this is like gives you the stroke width of the polygon file, and then the transparency. So I'm going to go back to the interface and launch this. So you can manage that on the data layer, and then on the interface layer, this is the pastures. And then we have a grazing plan. And this is cool because it's a timeline of how the cattle are going to graze each field or pasture. And so the utilization, this percentage that you're seeing here, is calculated through either number of livestock or number of days. So like lower divide is at 99% right now. And if I were to change the inventory of the number of animals in here, so like right now there's 750 and 400, there's a combination of animals in here. But if I were to put this at 1,000 and then go back to this grazing plan, you can see everything just increased because I just increased the number of animals that are utilizing all these fields. And you can see here that the color of the pastures has changed. So take a look at mountain. I got 6 minutes. Let's go to mountain, 42%. If I wanted to utilize more of that, there's 77. Go back. Now you can see it's orange. And then I'm just going to give you a demonstration of kind of the styling. If I find mountain here, change that to 5, so the stroke width of the pasture is going to change. Right there you can see that the stroke has changed. So for the sake of time, I'm going to kind of wrap it up here, but there's just like so much you can do with custom interfaces now and like vibe coding. And if you want help setting this kind of stuff up, I'd be more than happy to help you. And yeah, I'm glad to submit this. So thanks, and I hope you guys like this project. Thank you.